I chose pediatric rheumatology for so many reasons. I was really drawn to the process of making a diagnosis. As rheumatologists, we get to put all the different pieces of information together. So what the patient tells us, with what we see on their exam, with what their laboratory studies show, when we put it together, you feel like a detective. And when I was coming into the field was a time when there were so many new treatments coming on the horizon. And so when I talked to my mentors who were pediatric rheumatologists, they would tell me things like, we can do things for kids now that we never could before. We can show kids that they can have a normal life. And then you get to be part of patients' lives for years. So you get to see patients across the whole spectrum, from close to birth until they graduate high school and go off to college and get jobs. And so really being part of people's lives and families was really something that was appealing to me.
There's really nothing like helping a child who has swollen joints, can't walk, can't function, feel better, be able to return to normal life, be able to go to school, be able to help that family, restore hope and faith. And that just really was the main reason I went into pediatric rheumatology.
Our kids are fun, they're vulnerable. They bring along a whole set of baggage in terms of the parents and everything else that we're working with. But I love interacting with the kids. I love trying to make them feel better. I love trying to make them smile. And even though they may walk out in tears after the first visit because what we've said is very overwhelming to them and their parents, oftentimes they come back at the next visit. We're their favorite people because they're back in their sports, they're playing, they're doing their normal things. And that's just very rewarding.
I met a young woman who had CNS lupus, and her family actually showed me a picture of that girl, how she looked like before she was diagnosed. And it was a beautiful young woman. And well, the disease has ravaged her. You could hardly kind of recognize her anymore, and she was seizing. And it was just very emotional.
I chose pediatric rheumatology because it chose me first. I've had lupus since I was 9 years old, and it's been a very long journey of living with this disease. But throughout all those years of having lupus, I've just learned so much about what it takes to be a patient and what being a patient involves and how difficult it is. And it has really informed my clinical care as a physician now. And I really could not see myself in any other field. I just feel like I wouldn't be able to give back to patients like I can in this field.
We are an underserved specialty, so we need more trainees to come into our field because we have a huge need out there. There are many kids with rheumatic conditions whose diagnoses are very delayed, often because there is not enough known about the conditions in the community. And once we have more providers where referring pediatricians can send their kids, we can get the patients diagnosed faster.